And thank you guys for being here, and then the people watching this later on. Grateful for the time you're spending, even if it's not at the same time. And as I always say in these classes, please let me know if there's any questions, either through email or through Bruno or some way, because there's lots of details, and I want to make sure you're getting as much out of it as you can. So, to start the official class, hands to the side, gratitude for the class and your time, and then turning to the right, and then gratitude to the art and the knowledge that is contained in the art. All right, so let's start with our right foot forward. Make sure that you have shoulder width in your stance so that your feet are stable, your stance is stable, and put your hands up. So what you're going to do is, you're going to think about the idea that you're going to bring your weight forward and then slightly sort of tip your hands forward, and then you're going to bring your weight back, and as you bring your weight back, the front foot, the toes come up, and you put your weight onto your back foot, and the hands tip back slightly. So it's just a small movement to start, just a little bit back and forth, okay? So breathing out, going forward, and breathing in. Now relax your wrists. Allow your hands to be soft. This is not a hard technique. This is very soft, very relaxed. And not just your wrist relaxed, but all of the joints of the hand, right? There's all these little bones in here, and then there's a joint here, 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 here. All of them are just like there's some submerged in water, like you're doing this under the water. Now, if you feel like your hands are comfortable, bring your mind into your feet. And think about the idea of your weight going all the way to your back foot and all of the weight on the back foot to bring your weight to the front foot and being all of the weight on the front foot. As a very distinct positions, very distinct moments in your movement. Now, we're going to do an exercise to warm up the hips based on this. And it's all about the idea that you bring your weight to your front foot and you stay balanced there for a moment, okay? So, this is still right foot forward. I bring my weight forward. I bring my left knee up. And then I bring it down and I step back and I rock back. So it's not just this, it's and then back. So it's an extension of the motion, okay? And just more or less at your own pace. You can keep time with me if you want, but I'm not going to count. And try to get your knee to the height of your elbow every time. Let's do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now switch your feet. And start with just the rocking. Go forward, slight tip forward with the hands, come back, left foot toes in the air, and back and forth. Now as we do this, relaxing the wrists, relaxing the hand. Kind of reminds me of seagrass or kelp, and if you've ever seen images of it under the water with the tide coming in and out. So you kind of think of that kind of fluid motion. Now, when you go forward though, right here, this position, you want to take note of this because now my head is on top of my shoulders are on top of my hips, and my weight can come here and be balanced on that one foot. So that's a really important part of the idea of transferring your weight to the front foot. And then to the back foot is that you can be balanced on that foot and pick up the other foot, okay? Now, like we did before though, I'm gonna go to the forward point of my balance, and then my back knee is gonna come forward, and then straight up towards the elbow, and then back down, stepping back, and then the toes coming up in the front again. Relax your wrists. Keep your hands relaxed. If you find yourself tensing your hands, you need to relax the body because you don't need to tense your hands. Relax your shoulders. The only part of the body with using strength right now is the legs. And let's do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then feet together, cleansing breath. 1. Good. Now, one of the concepts that I often explore, I put my light on, that I often explore is the idea that when we are doing a movement, roughly, the one side of the hemisphere of the brain has motor control towards the other side of the body. So there's like the left side of the brain here has some more governance of the right side of the body and vice versa. And so when we're doing movements where both hands are doing something, you're exercising a harmonization of both hemispheres in the brain. I think this is a good way to think of it. It's not exactly perfectly physically like that way, but it is roughly got some good qualities to it as a concept. Now, there's 2 ways to go about that kind of exercising though, and I want to sort of talk about that for a moment. So in like movements like this, right, where I'm doing this kind of thing, it's one hand is doing one thing, one hand is doing another, and that's really good, right? You're paying attention to 2 things. Or you can do hand movements that are like this, where your hands are just doing the unison. That's really good too. But the other thing is you can go from one side to the other. And going back and forth between those 2 sides, you can think of like a spark that jumps, jing, jing, jing to each side. And then as it does, it's creating these sort of synaptic type connections. So without worrying about any of that, just as a thought, bring your hands up like this. Now, we're going to start with the left hand forward, close, make a fist, right hand close, make a fist. Because the Tai Chi definitely likes these what's called vertical punches, rather than karate likes these kind of punches, here. And so we're here. Left hand is forward, right hand is back. The right hand is back, it's by the side of the ribs. The arm is bent, they call this an arrowhead. You can think of it like the point of an arrow, the head of an arrow, right? It's not down here like this, it's up and it's tight. Now, from here, I'm going to take my left foot and step forward and punch forward, switching my hand position, right? And then I'm going to come back and then step forward with my right or my other foot and punch with the other hand. So the exercise is to go between the 2 hands, which is, as I said, the idea of one side then the other side, one side then the other side. Okay? So left hand forward to start. We're going to step in with our right foot and right hand. Now, bend your knees, put your weight down. And now when you step, I better show you these details first too. When you step, don't step to the straight and have your feet aligned. Step in and have that width of proper stance, so shoulder width apart when you do this, okay? So ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Feet together, step forward again, other side. Feet together, step forward again, other side. And every time you come in strong. It's a punch. Good. That's the idea. Now, notice one more thing. When I step in, my foot goes in and out. My foot goes in and then around and out. There's a move in there. You see? Now, this is to warm up still, so go fairly fast. Now go a little faster. And then slow it down, keep your back straight. Don't lean in at all, and go slow. Reach in, punch 1. Come back, reach in, punch 2. 1, 2. And then come back and shake it off. So that's a really good exercise for warming up. And you can do any technique. You can move forward and do any hand position, and then any other hand position. So, feet out, push right stance, pelvic tilt, back straight, and here. So after getting the heart rate up a little bit, calm down, the energy disperses, not disperses, but becomes calm. And now gather, breathe in, palms come up, fold, look at your palms, they come right in front of your eyes, and then they push down. Breathe in, breathe out. One more. Now, hands up, turn to face each other. And now when you breathe in, keep your elbows close to your body, but pull your wrists apart. 2. And one more, 3. Now as you bring your hands together, bring your feet together. Gather. Rub your hands together. And now wash your face back behind your ears. And then take your fingertips and kind of vigorously rub around where your hair is, all through the hair. And then again, just wash the face, wash down the arm and the other arm, and throw it all away. Good. And we'll do a stretch. So push your feet back out and sink down. Hands on your knees. Relaxing the hips, side to side. Feet forward, sink down, elbows to the knees, and push the knees out and let the hips sink low. Reach forward like you're diving into water, extend the spine. And then bring your hands down and sink down as low as you can, keeping your knees out. And straighten your back. Turn to your left, push to the left. Think about how your right or your left foot is going to the left and your weight is nice and distributed into the foot. This foot can then extend out and maximize its extension. Put your hand down, heel up, sink down, runner's stretch. And put your back foot down, walk back to your right foot, put your left toes in the air and sink into what I call Tai Chi stretch. Flip the foot, straighten the back, turn to your right, push. So again, transferring the weight into the foot, on the right foot, going to the right, pushing the left foot out, maximizing extension. Lean into it. Put your hand down, heel up, sink down. Put your back knee down, push your weight forward against your right foot. And then walk back to your left foot, Tai Chi stretch. Hands to the middle, work the feet in, straighten the back, and push your hips forward. And circle. Other way. And shake it out. Good. Okay, so so bring your hands in, and then open, and let the rib cage extend up and out a bit, and then back in. And you can sway a little bit, forward and back, just a little. All right, now this time in, out, and extend your fingertips away from each other. As far away as you can let them. And then relax your shoulders enough that you're comfortable, and then roll them forward. And then roll your shoulders and your elbows forward. And then roll your hands, shoulders, and elbows forward. Big circles. And then drop. Breathe in. And out. Extension, extension, extension. And then relax. Now, we went forward, so we're going to go backwards. Backwards. These shoulders. And then the shoulders and the elbows. And then the shoulders, elbows, and hands. And then drop the arms. Breathe in. And out. 2, 3. And then reach up to the sky. Reach as high as you can. Extend to your fingertips. Tippy toes. Push your fingers up and your toes down. And then bring your heels down, twist the arm. Other way, twist the arm. Shake out. Reach up again. Now this time when you go on your tippy toes, rotate your palms to the outside. So look up, take a breath in. When you go on your tippy toes, palms rotate to the outside. Now push your toes down and fingers up, but in that position. And then bring your heels down, and then try to grab as far down your own spine as you can with your left hand. Show your left hand like this, and then help it with the right hand. Reaching as far down your spine as you can. And down, and then just the other side. So reach as far as you can and help it. Help it reach as far as it can go. And then shake it up. And then, as always, wrist up. Keep the wrist below the elbow and the elbow below the shoulder. Grab the fingers and the thumb, roll it up and extend and max. You should try to feel a stretch, which is a kind of small tension on each joint. So not just the wrist, but the wrist, elbow, and shoulder, all three of them. And you should do that through every wrist stretch. So we turn the hand over, and we come out, again, wrist below the elbow, below the shoulder, and we pull back, and I want to feel the stretch pulling through into the shoulder. That's how you know you really are doing the technique. And then in here, and it's the same thing. I turn my wrist to a certain point, the wrist is maximized, but then that puts the twist into the elbow. And if I go beyond that, the shoulder wants to go this way. So that's how I know I've connected my wrist to my shoulder, is the shoulder wants to move. And then the final one we'll do today would be crane beak. So you do the crane beak position, thumb touches the forefinger, all fingers connect, you make the crane's head. But again, if you're doing it right, it takes time to develop this, so don't worry about too much if it's not happening yet. But you want to be able to feel a connection through the tendons of the arm, from the wrist to the elbow to the shoulder as you do this stretch. And again, you know that because if I push my hand this way, my shoulder is going to move because it has to compensate somehow. And so that's the maximum in that sense. Give it a shake. And then the right hand, all the same stuff. So extend, feel the connection through the whole arm to the shoulder. Back, fingers up, same thing. Hand to your center, twist. And then out, crane beak, and push down. And give that a little shake. And now, you know how sometimes we will do this on the legs, right? To release muscle tension. And what that is that's a loose fist. So it's not a full fist, it's just loose, but it's able to just sort of smack on various sides. You know, you can intuit that. So you're going to use the top part of your hand here, the loose fist. You're going to support, I'll do my right hand first. I'm going to support my right hand with my left, my right elbow with my left hand. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to do a bit of massaging in these muscles. Now, the muscles, you can think of it from the bottom of the neck out to about here. This is a pretty strong band of muscle. You can hit pretty hard, you know, to whatever you're comfortable with, but it's pretty strong. Come up the neck, and as you come up the neck, they go very light, because you don't want to hurt them at all, right? You just want to sort of, the impact stimulates blood flow. That's the key of it. Okay, so fairly firm here, and then lighter coming up the neck, and then down, and then back up, and down, and back up. And a couple more times. And then shake it out. Support the left elbow with the right hand, same thing. And then give it a wash, clean it, and the other side. Shake it out. Now, hands on your hips, and turn your head side to side. See if it doesn't feel a little freer, a little bit more relaxed. Now roll the chin, roll the chin, roll the chin, and roll the chin. And look forward and look up, down, go around. 1, 2, 3, other way. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So let's jump into the form. We've been diving into the second set. We talked about repulsing the monkey? Yeah? Did we talk about here and then all this? Kind of? A little bit? Yeah. Okay, so did we do the variation here? Yeah, okay. That's where we're at then, right? That's where we're at. That's the last plate we're at. Yeah. Okay. So let's do a quick review of the first set, and then we'll jump into the second, okay? The light keeps changing in my room so much, it's funny. I'm watching this. It's like sometimes I think you can see me pretty well, and then sometimes it's like the sunlight just blasts through. Hopefully you can see well enough we can do this. Okay, so first set. Relax. Back straight. Think about the idea that the head is rising and the feet are sinking. The body is being held in the middle, and the extension through the body is dynamic and complete. So from here, I shift my weight to my right foot. I step out with my left. My hands fall to my top of my legs. I root my feet. I feel the weight dispersed, distributed through the foot, throughout the front and the back of the foot. And then from the soles of my feet, I rise, my hands rise. Up. And I turn. Push. I pick up the ball, and I throw the ball to the corner. I rock back, turn, pull in the right foot, bring up my hands to protect my head, and I push out. Double tray, grab the ball, bring it down, and up, and throw it away. Push. Look to the front, left foot comes in, cross, brush aside, 1. Brush aside, 2. Knee comes up, turn to the outside, step and push. Turn to the front, roll back, 1, circle the arms. Hands come up, knee comes up, hands come down. Hands come back up, everything comes down the center. Step in, deflect, keep away, and strike. Turn to the side. Roll back, turn up, 1, 2. Nice low cat stance. Feel the weight sink into the ground. Strike the temple, come air into the ear, clear, and push. Extend forward, bring your balance forward, come back, clear, and push. Brushing the knee with the left, pushing the right hand forward, taking a big step and pushing. Same thing, brushing the knee with the right this time, stepping forward and pushing. And extend, thumbs are down, come to the side, sink into cat stance. Wave at the crowd. Hold the tray. Strike the sternum with the edge of the hand. Strike the cheekbone or temple with the palm heel. Make a fist with the right and do a hook punch to the temple. Scoop, blocking a kick. Scoop, blocking a punch. Kick. Bring your foot back up. Left hand to center. Step, pushing, fingers up. Pushing. Extend your fingertips. Punch. Draw back, part, make sure your hands get to the outside of your shoulders. Push away, up and away. Look to the front. And then carry the tiger to the mountain. Now hold that position, carrying the tiger to the mountain. So now you're holding your hands up here like this. This point in the center of the palm, where when you clench and you make a fist, where the middle finger touches, is lao gong. You should try to feel a connection from that point to the point at the front of the foot we've talked about, kidney 1. And that can only be done because your weight is sinking down, your hands are rising up, and you're creating a dynamic tension between those 2 points. You feel that connection through the whole body, from the hands to the feet. And that connection, that's a resetting. So you reset yourself for the next set. Okay? Now relax for a second. This is not written in stone in any way, but one of the things that you hear a lot in terms of like martial art or qigong or these kind of yoga even actually talks about this a lot, is this 3 aspects of self. Like you got mind, body, and spirit, right? Now, what that means exactly is very interpretive and very open, but the connection between the 2 is what's emphasized. The 3. So it's not like how you define the difference between spirit and mind. Well, go ahead and play with that, that's fine. How you define the difference between the mind and the body, again, these are very, very gray areas. But the idea was that these components come together. That's the ideal that you're striving for in your practice. And that's what this represents, is this connection from one point to the other opposite point in balance for a moment in time. And then out of that moment in time, the chaos of the universe reconnects with you, and you have to start to move again and roll around with it. But each time you do a set, you're reconnecting to that harmonization of those 3. So there's those 3 components. Well, there's 3 sets. So roughly, this is not a written in stone thing. The first set is a way of developing the body initially to just get some coordination going, to get some sense of how to step and have balance and all these things. The second set is a lot to do with mind in that sense. It's going to be very, it's like a labyrinth. You're going to be turning and turning and turning in all these very unpredictable ways. And that's the spirals of the thought processes of the mind. The third set we'll talk about when we get to it, but it would be spirit in that sense. So having said that, just remember that when you practice the form and you go between sets and you get to here, bring together everything that you are, all the little pieces into one place, and then they can be dispersed again. And that is the process of Tai Chi. That's the process of Dao. From here, I'm carrying the tiger to the mountain, and then I'm turning and I'm pushing away. Catch a sparrow by the tail, and push away, turn. Now I'm blocking a kick, but my head is straight. I'm stepping back, coming up, shifting down. And then big circles with the hands, come up, and I reach out with my right hand and I push down and I strike out with my left hand here. I reach across with my left hand and I push down and I strike out with my right hand here. My right hand comes back, my left hand comes forward, and I really sink into the cat stance in this posture. This posture is the same as the warm-up with the punch, it's just that the hand is open. Now this hand is saying stop, and now connect your knee to your elbow, and as you step back, hands move. So that all 3 limbs, 1 leg and 2 arms, connect to the final position together, okay? And then we do 2, and then 3. Now we're here, our right foot is forward, our right hand is forward. We're facing to the side. We're going to go from the side to the back corner on our rights. We're going to turn our right heel in and bring our right hand across. We're going to bring our right hand down, and as it comes back towards us, step back with our left foot, and that's a kick block. You're blocking a kick, and then you're blocking a punch with your left hand to your face. So you end up with your 2 hands this way, one in the lower part by the hip, the other one up by the ear. And then you step forward with your right foot and extend your right hand, and I call this spear posture because you turn your arms into one long spear. And then from there, turn the right palm, come to here. You'll notice that in this posture, my two hands are connecting at the same place. So I was here, right? And then my left hand comes slightly forward, my right hand comes back, and here they're aligned so that as I pick up my left knee, they can work perfectly in unison together. And then down, and I step back. Now my hands are at the low point. I shift back, the hands rise up, and then they fall down, and I sink onto my left foot. Now, my weight is on my left foot, I turn to the front. My right hand clears across the center, my left hand holds the space, and then I shift forward and my right wrist strikes. And it is a wrist strike. The surface here is striking. So make sure you bend the wrist really strongly. Okay? Now this is the same as the first set. I come back, I turn, and then eagle spreads its wings. Feeling the strength of the cat stance, rotate your hips, strike the temple, reach out, cup the ear, grab the back of the head now. This is a new thing. And push the back of the head down and strike the bottom of the neck or as it connects to the spine. And then we're here. And I remember now we stopped here, okay? So let's do the second set again because that one's the newest. We got lots of time, so yeah. From here, turn, catch a sparrow by the tail. Now your weight has come forward to your right, come back and turn on the front part of your left foot. All the way around, you should have a moment here where your knees align, your head is straight up, and then step back, come up, sink down. Hands scoop up. Now block, strike, block, strike. Pull the hand back, push the hand out. Now, knee up, breathe in. Step back, breathe out. Knee up, breathe in. Step back, breathe out. And one more. Now from here, turn. And think about the idea someone's kicking you. So you're going to block the kick here. Step back, they punch, you block the punch. And then you reach in. Think of almost like grabbing their throat, stepping in. Both arms are extended. Right hand rolls around, connects to the left hand, and both hands pick up the left knee. Both hands bring the left knee down and back. The weight shifts back, and then the hands rise and fall. And you are striking downwards. Turn, block, punch to your belly, kick to your belly, keep it away, strike with the back of the wrist. From here, turn to the left. 1, block. 2. Now, 1, strike with the temple. 2, cup air into the ear, grab the back of the head, push it down, and strike. Okay, so that's what we've done so far. Now, before I introduce the next move, I want to do a quick exercise that will help you develop how this next move works. Because the next move it's very subtle, and it's going to take a little bit of focus. It's going to take quite a bit of focus for us to get it transmitted through the internet. Okay, so it's very subtle. And it also has to do with something else that I think is important to sort of share. There's a false narrative in martial arts, especially martial arts coming out of China, where there's this idea of what we call external and internal schools, or external and internal kung fu. And so that's not really, it's not that cut and dry. There are systems that are more physically powerfully developed, so you do more muscle moves and more linear moves and more aggressive moves. And then there are systems like Tai Chi, which are not about muscle strength, but about dynamics and breathing and calmness. So those are very different things, that's true. But the idea that a person could just do one or the other, in isolation is not really true, because like you have to breathe, which is internal. You have to move from your core to some degree. It doesn't matter how externalized your striking or whatever it is, you just can't get away from that. You have 2 arms and 2 legs or something. What really changes is perspectives. But anyways, my point was that in the Chinese systems, the Kung Fu systems, there's usually 3 internal systems that are given the most acknowledgement as being the most important ones, or the most notable ones in a lot of ways. And they're Xini, Bagua, and Tai Chi. So they are all very complementary to each other. The idea is that Xini is a little more externalized, a little more linear. It's more like a karate system, focusing on more external technique, gives you core strength, strong stances, and then you move from that to Bagua, where it's all circular movements. So you've done linear strong, and then your circle, and circle is a dynamic movement. It's not about overt strength, it's about just control of dynamic. And then Tai Chi becomes the highest level, where everything is brought together into one understanding. And so I don't know Xini and Bagua as arts, because they are their own arts, and that's a whole lifetime of study in each one, and I wouldn't even dare to try to think I do. But I was taught a couple, once very important, Bagua exercise, which is the circle stepping idea in Bagua. And once you get that idea developed a bit, you can see that that is an ingredient, it is an element of the Tai Chi form all over the place. But the next sequence we want to do from the form in the second set is very much Bagua-like. So I want to do the Bagua exercise, and then we'll do the next movement, okay? So, having said all that, here's what we're going to do. Pick a spot on the floor in front of you that you can see, obviously. For me, it's where a couple of the boards on my floor come together, and I can see a crossing point, so it's obvious for my eyes. So I'm going to take my right hand, and I'm going to put it over that spot. I'm going to be focusing largely on the inside of the pinky finger side, here. And I'm going to clench my fingers except for my index finger, like this. So it's going to be over top of that spot. And then from that spot, I'm going to think about it as the center of a circle. And the circle is probably 18 inches or so away from that spot. And you're going to walk that circle, but your right hand's going to stay hovering over top of that point. So it's just hovering in space, and you're walking around your hand. Okay? So your other hand is doing the same posture, but it's back underneath your chin here. Okay? Now, you see this in the form kind of when you do the knee brushes and you step and your hands come here. All you have to do, or actually, sorry, repulsing the monkey is even better. When you're here, it's just the finger position is different, but that's the same position with the front hand, and then this hand is just coming up to there. So from here to there is almost the same position. Okay, so you've already seen that position. So I'm going to walk around that point. Now in this case, I'm walking clockwise. Okay, now as you walk, my teacher would always say, be like a cat stalking a bird. So you're low to the ground and you're very conscious of the step. Very conscious of the step. And every step, you're turning your body inwards to the inner part of the circle. Inward, inward, inward. Walking around that point. Now don't look at the ground, look across the room. Just keep your alignment best you can. Now, freeze for a second. So here's where I am. My left foot's in front, my left hand's under my chin. My left hand is going to go under my right elbow. I'm going to turn my hips, and I'm going to extend my left hand out and bring my right hand back. And then I'm going to walk the circle the other way. So every time you change directions, the hand that's behind goes underneath and emerges out. Underneath and emerges out, okay? So whenever I say turn, you're gonna turn. Okay, so walk your circle, turn. 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 Now turn whenever you want, but do them. Keep lots of turns. And keep going. All right, relax, come back. So that exercise is at the heart of a lot of your stepping in Tai Chi, and of course it is the foundational exercise in Bagua as a style. And what it is, so what Bagua is so good at as a system in martial arts is getting behind a person. So if somebody throws a punch or grabs you or something, and you step around them and get behind them, they can't hit you, right? You can't hit people behind you. And then you're in a position, there's a lot of choking techniques in Bagua, and so it's good for a lot of that kind of thing. But what I want to point out for the Tai Chi is that it's a way of weaving around straight lines. Okay, so if I wanted to, say if I was standing in front of you, and I wanted to grab you with my right hand, it reaches in like this. That's a straight line. If I wanted to do a punch, that's a straight line. A hook punch is actually a straight line going this way, or becomes a straight line. But the idea is that attacks are linear, and Bagua responds by folding around the attack. So I got my Joe here for this reason. I want to show you guys this idea. So here's the Joe showing you a straight line here, right? So if I want to reach in like we were warming up with the punches, right? That's the grabbing element, straight line. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this part of the form here that we just ended with. And I'm going to do a Bagua step where I'm going to take my back foot, my right foot, and step here. On this side of the line, I'm going to put my foot down, and then I'm going to turn and take another step across the line here. I'm not going to complete it. I'm just going to turn to there, though. So, as I said, it's very subtle. I'm just going to go 1, 2. The path is this way and then this way. It's zigzagging around that straight line. Okay? So that was the visual I wanted to show you. Now, let's put it together and see if we can make sense of it. So, go to here, eagle spreads its wings, and go 1, 2, 3. Now, from here, imagine on the floor in front of you is that, just a broom handle, whatever it is, something that's straight line. Take your right foot and step across the line here. And now put your right foot down and turn yourself to the corner towards the right side of where you're facing, and bring your left foot over top of it into cat stance here. Okay? So it's just 2 steps, but the concept is very subtle, right? Very nuanced. So just the steps again. Okay? So that should make some sense. Now the hands are simply doing this. I call it the windshield wiper sometimes, right? Just like a windshield wiper. So I go here, my fingers are up. When I take my first step with my right foot, my fingers come down. Windshield wiper down. And it should be to the point of almost like you're doing this, just here. Then, as my left foot comes forward and steps back across to the corner, my hand comes up again. Okay? So do it again. 1, windshield wiper down. 2, windshield wiper up. Okay? Now I'll go facing the camera so you can see how my hand moves with my feet. Here, this is the last one of these. Boom. 1, 2. Okay? And then this hand just hangs out here just like we did earlier in the set. Okay? So from here again, 1, 2, 3, strike. Now down, up, settle. Now there's one more thing I'll add in today, is that as you settle, you're going to turn your palm forward and bring this hand from underneath to on top of your arm. Okay? So I'll be here. I'm going to go 1, 2, settle. So the hand below goes on top and the hand rotates forward. Okay? And you can see I'm not using my thumb. I'm just touching with my fingertips like the beginning of the form. Okay? So from here, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Facing the camera. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now, here's the explanation I'll try to express. I'm here. Now that could also be here. I don't want to fight, right? Now, windshield wiper down is a block, or think of it as a block. So they punch at you and you just knock the hand down, right? Then they punch again and you come up for the block. So this is the block now, this way. Okay, where's my trusty aid here? Here, this will work. So punch is coming in and I'm going to knock it down. Next punch is coming in, I'm going to go up this way. See? Block, block. 1, 2. On the second one, as I come up, I rotate and I hook in like this, and that's catching the arm and taking control of it. Okay? So think about that this way. So you're here, just the hands block down and block up, and then rotate and sort of attach, clip in. You can think of this as, if I went like this, it'd be a crane wing. And that crane's wing is grabbing essentially, but it's not quite that pronounced, it's just here. Okay, so put your hands here. Now, windshield wiper down is this from this punch. So I'm going to jab, windshield wiper down. Okay, now windshield wiper up is this punch. And now turn and hook into the hand. Yes, so your hand should be there. When you do that, don't let your elbow come out. Keep your elbow right where it is. It's just rotating the forearm. Yeah, that's important. Okay, so again, you're here. 1, windshield wiper down. 2, windshield wiper up. And then take control of the arm. Now, put that together with the footwork. So when you block, if you guys pretend to be the attacker to me, I'll do it this way. So I'm here, you guys put your hands up. Now do a left hand punch, right? As the left hand comes in, I'm pushing it down, but moving forward towards you. But I'm bringing my foot across my center. So I'm over towards your right, more towards your right. And that actually puts my face and my body right in front of your right hand. So when you throw the right hand, go ahead and do that slowly. I come up, I deflect, and now your right hand's turning over this way, your right arm. You're turning away from me. You're turning away from me, and then I'm hooking your arm, and now you can't turn back towards me unless you go way around, right? Because I'm controlling your arm on the outside, okay? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, okay. Let's try it again from here. 1, 2, 3. Now, they throw a left punch, move forward, and bring your weight to the side. They throw the right punch, let it extend past your head, past you, and then turn and push into the arm. And again, they're going to end up like this, and your arm will be here, and you're going to be pushing into them, and they can't move from there. Okay? That was the time. 55. Okay, so that's good. That for the explanation. Let's just review the second set to that point now, and that'll probably be the class we have. Okay. So from here, breathe in and begin. Catching a sparrow by the tail. Down, up, down, roll back, pushing up and forward. Turning. Keep the head upright. Balance coming forward. Up. Hands up. 1, 2. Back. Now, 1, 2, 3. Turn. Block a kick, block a punch. Reach in, strong spear position. Around, up, down, and down. 1, 2, back. Block 1, block 2. Turn. Strike the temple. Cup air to the ear. Clear. And then strike. Now what we just worked on. Block down. Block up. Turn the hand and settle. And that's where we'll leave it today. Okay, anybody who's here have any questions about anything? I guess not. Thank you for your time, everybody. Always a pleasure. Take care of yourselves. I think we have one more before the holidays, right? Bruno?
Yes.
Right? No, one more next week.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, one more.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for your time.
See you next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.